getting people, the first mistake I made was overly intellectualizing the strategy. Of course it makes sense. It's so evident. Here's the logical argument, and didn't engage people enough emotionally in why there was a need for change, and engage people as human beings emotionally around why should they as people buy into a new strategy, and why that strategy doesn't alienate them from the business that they love and they made the choice to come work here. And that was something that I feel like if I do this again, I will spend far more time on that aspect, getting emotional buy-in from the team as opposed to just trying to cram it down top down because it makes intellectual sense. Another thing that was, maybe it's an unfortunate statement on human nature, but in the early days of the change management process, which I guess is the proper way to refer to these things, it didn't seem much like a process at the time, but in the initial day of the change management process, I spent a lot. I'm a very optimistic person. I'm a glass half full person, and I sold the need for change in very aspirational. These are a huge opportunity. I found that also when we realized as a leadership team that we needed to balance the need for change with it's going to be great if we pull this off and the opportunities are much more, but also that the status quo is not risk-free. So human beings, we always think the status quo ex ante is the risk-free option, and change is risky. It's very hard for us, I think a lot of social scientists suggested, to cognitively realize that the status quo carries a lot of risk. So we started talking about the downside and the risks that things that can go terribly wrong if we just keep sticking to our knitting. And we didn't overdo that because, again, I'm a very optimistic person. But we started dialing in maybe a 22% weight on the downside as opposed to emphasize. That really tipped people's minds that there's a need where the status quo isn't tenable. We have to change, and the risk of change is balanced against the risk of not changing, as opposed to just the great stuff that's going to happen if we successfully pull it off, balanced against the fear that if we fail, we're going to screw up what we already built.